I'm really blessed to have such people who even know. Fine. Really good to see you all guys once again. Fine. So let's move on with one more interesting session. So last three sessions, if you look at just a quick recap, we have covered the W's of HTML5. So I told you the very objective of HTML5 by Tim Berners and Michael Havery was to actually give a facility to create dynamic UI components. Components which will have life. For every view which you see on the screen, you should have a soul in the backend. That soul fine is going to be written in JavaScript, and that JavaScript is going to be supported by Java. The more the JavaScript, the more the Java is powerful. Believe me, the UI is going to be very, very powerful. Now understand this from the real life perspective. A lot of political leaders, if you look at, they might be like just showpieces in the world of political arena. Most of the political leaders may not be very strong physically, mentally, but they will have a very, 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 very strong support system. The more the support system is stronger, the person at the front gets all the strength. The secret of success of most of the politicians, most of the businessmen. That's the reason many businessmen and politicians say we need to find the right followers, find right employees. If you have that, you are the king. So plan properly, guys. So these architectures teach us even the practical life. So on that basis, Tim Berners and Michael Havery also want us to think, and they have given us the technological stack and the facility in order to create very strong, rich UIs. The term they used is rich UI, rich user interface. So on that basis, you saw a glimpse of HTML, right? And you saw a glimpse of JavaScript. Now let's move on. We don't have much time. So let me give you the complete stack because we need to cover Java also. I need to show you how Java works there. So let's start off with the next thing which is very popular in HTML. To start with, first is the CSS, cascading style sheet. We call this as the makeup box, the beauty parlor of HTML, because every lady, even though Allah made her beautiful, fine, we have something called as makeup, we have something called as beauty parlors, which makes them much more elegant, much more presentable. So humans are like that. So HTML is of course beautiful. It has all the super duper UI components with the default beauty. But if you want to make it more beautiful, you got something called as cascading style sheet. Now this is not a complex thing. Plenty of CSS templates are available on internet. Most of the time we may be tuning them to suit our needs. But all I have to do is I should know what is available in order to tune my sheets, tune my HTML. What is how to do it and what are the complexities, you will immediately get help, because nobody is going to work in a company like exam. Everything is open. ChatGPT is there, Google is there, the entire online community is there. You have books. So that's how we work, right? So no need to memorize anything. Understand, that's enough. Okay, this is CSS. Next to CSS, we need to understand the APIs. APIs which are there. APIs means application programming interfaces, which are there to make our HTML programming much more stronger. Like for example, we have an API called as XML HTTP request, which can make an asynchronous request to the server where Java services are going to be in abundance. We are going to create them. And it does an asynchronous call. Yesterday we completed tilde. We said set timeout, set interval. What are these methods? They are basically called as asynchronous methods. See, there are only two ways to solve a problem. You solve it or get it solved. Synchronous is you solving it. Asynchronous means you getting it solved. Thereby you are free to do something else. So we can make the browser do something else. That's what I showed you. A text field I was typing, in the background the work was happening. That is asynchronous. This is possible, quite possible in programming with the help of a concept called multi-threading. So set timeout actually spans a thread. Set interval spans a thread. Thread is a process within a process, a sub-process. So on the same lines, XML HTTP request creates a background process which goes talk to the Java services and then returns you, results which may change the entire UI, which may affect the entire UI. So that's how the entire stack is. Fine. Apart from this XML HTTP request, there are plenty of HTML5 APIs. We got something called as local storage, session storage for session management. Getting it? And then you got server sent events. You can have something at the server side, and you can very well find you can very well. One second, guys, my camera. Yeah. Okay. So you can very well have some server-side JavaScript, and it can emit signals on a continuous scale, and the signals can be captured. So that is available in the form of HTML5 API. We call this SSE, server sent event. Other than that, we have geolocation API, an API where you can find out your latitude and longitude, your current position. You know very well now Ola, find Uber, all these guys find your current location. They use geolocation to achieve this. Google has sent find plenty of satellites where they have opened one satellite for geolocation, and it's free for public. For not for commercial usage, for education usage, it's free. For commercial usage, you need to pay a subscription, and then you can also use it for commercial. So geolocation can give you exactly the position, latitude and longitude. You know very well. Fine. The world is having a cross lines and no vertical lines, which was drawn by a very famous mathematician called as Musa ibn al-Khawarizmi, and one more person who, Musa ibn al-Khawarizmi was father of algorithm. He is also father of algebra, and he has given a lot of contribution to trigonometry. He's a great scientist. After him, Zawari, al-Zawari, one more, excellent, one scientist who have improved this work on longitude and latitude. Today, that's what they use. So geolocation satellites basically find out the latitude and longitude and give you the exact address. And using that address, you can find out your location. Then you also got something called as drag and drop API. Now it's very famous. You would have seen a lot of Hollywood movies. The hero will move the icons from the here to here and all. Now that is drag and drop. That's going to be the buzz in the future. So everybody wants like that hand movement. They want to change everything. So such kind of drag and drop can be done. See, all these things are available. How you make it elegant, how you make it more advanced, more beautiful, more presentable, more innovative, it's in your hand. The basic is given away. So in this class, let's quickly have an idea of these things. Let's see how much we can learn from this. Is that the only thing we have? No. Plenty of things are there, guys. Now sky is the limit. Fine. You have plenty to learn. So a few things. Let's have a quick introduction of this. So I'm giving you the flow. First, we learned the W's of HTML5. Then we understood HTML. Then we have understood JavaScript and ES6, which was created Brandon Eek and Ekman. And now we are getting into HTML5 APIs and CSS. Once we are through with this, then I can straight away create a dynamic UI component with a React or Angular or Flutter or Vue. So I'll go up to that level. I will create a React based page using what we have learned, and I will settle down after creating a dynamic UI component. Once we are through with that, then I will connect with Java and make it very powerful. Got it? Making sense? Fine. So let's quickly get into the session. It will keep calling. One second. Okay, this was the last thing we saw, right? This was the last thing. So now let's go ahead and try first learn, the CSS, and then we'll come back to, fine. We'll not learn complete CSS, little bit of CSS. Fine. As I said, CSS is quite simple, but very powerful. Fine. For this also, I'll share a simple study material. Already, Sophia will be sharing with you the other materials also. For every class, I'm giving a material. Fine. Miss Sophia will be, in a position to share you that. Okay. Fine. So let's quickly have an idea of this. CSS. Okay. Now coming to CSS. CSS has an anatomy. That is how CSS is given. First one is CSS. Fine. CSS always has, find a selector, because I need to select a HTML element, and then I need to find use a property, and then I need to assign a value. So what property of that particular selected element I'm going to change, and how I'm going to find, give the value for the property. So that's what a CSS will have: a selector, will have a property, will have a value. Let me show you that. For example, you can have something like h1. For example, h1. Fine. Now this particular thing, you can very well assign a style. Now what I'm doing right now is inline style sheet. Within the element itself, I can specify a style. So this is the selector. H1 is the selector. And here I'm going to have a key value pair. I can very well say color or any property. Fine. See this color. I can say red. So please understand, H1 is selector, property is color, value is red. So simple thing I'm doing. So if I do that, congratulations. You have simply executed one CSS, cascading style. Getting it? So simple it is. But only thing is you need to know a little bit more. Okay. Apart from this, you also have a embedded style sheet. You can also have an embedded style sheet. You can define style separately and use it again and again. For example, this one will not apply in the next H1. Fine. Next world. Next world will not be red. Why? Because that style is applying only for the first one. But if I'm going to declare here H1, and then within brackets, if I'm going to say color colon blue, Now please understand, this is embedded style sheet, and for all the H1 tags, I'm saying color should be blue. See this? Now for this it has not changed because inline will have preference over the embedded. If I don't give this, that's how it should be, right? If I want, I should be able to change it. So if I don't give this, it will be blue. But if I'm going to give it here, fine, give it here, then of course I'm going to have this as red. So make sense? So here you can see this is selector, this is a property, and this is the value. Likewise, how many properties we have, sir? If you ask me, there are many properties. Like for example, I'll give you a few more properties too. But these properties you can learn on your own also by looking at the CSS note which are available online in several websites. So lot of tutorials are available. So just know the anatomy and other things. Fine, that should be enough for you. So I'm saying background color yellow. Fine. So if I want, I will override that here. Getting that. You can also have font weight, bold, color. Fine. You can say here. Fine. Font style, italic. See this font style. Like means slanting, right? So this is your simple thing. Getting that. This is called as element selection. This is called as element selection. Any element can be identified and you can apply this style for that particular element. Can it be applied for H2? Yes. P? Yes. B? Yes. I? Yes. Any element you take inside HTML, you can apply this style to any element of your choice. Simple. Set. So now two things: inline style sheet, embedded style sheet, and you also learn the anatomy of the CSS. Selector, property, value. One more property you give by delimiting with a semicolon. In case of an inline style sheet, you say style equal to. In case of an embedded style sheet, select the element, fine, and then within brackets you provide the style. Set. Apart from this, a element can also be selected by an ID. By an ID. For example, you can also say H1, fine, or rather, yeah, let's say H1 ID equal to my H, fine. Next word, fine, with ID. Now ID equal to my H. If you want, you can specify a special fine style for that ID. How? You can select a tag with an ID by saying hash and then my H. Hash my H will identify fine this. So here you can say color, fine, let's say yellow for example. So if you are going to do that, already the background is yellow, right? Background is yellow. I'll change this this to cyan. See, getting that. So you can also identify using this. Okay, well, fine. Apart from this, you can also identify through something called as class. For example, you can also say here a particular class, a particular class. For example, you can say dot my style, fine, and then you can say this color colon, fine, orange, color colon orange, and here you can say h1 class equal to my style, and this is for class. See this. So look at this. Three things you have seen. Now one is like you can assign using a selector of an element. You can assign the selection using the ID. You can also create a class. So this I have see I didn't add an attribute class and then identify. I have created a class here and the class is created with this style dot then the class name. Then you can say h1 or whatever tag it is, class equal. Then this my style will be applied here. Getting it? Fine. Making sense. If you want, you can also group. You can also group many things. For example, you can say like this: h1 comma h2 comma h3. You can also do like this. Fine, that is also there. Making sense. So that's it. That's all. So simple it is. So you can select a element using a element name, or it could be an id, or it could be now you can apply a class. You can also group the elements. Inline style sheet, embedded style sheet. One more thing which you can have is you can also have an external style sheet. For example, you can say link rel equal to style sheet. Fine. Type equal to text slash css, then href equal to a.css. You can say like this. Now what do you mean by this? You have a a.css separately. Yesterday I told you, right? Script also can be fine like that. So you can also have a script like this. You can say script type equal to text slash javascript, and then you can say src equal to fine a.js. You can specify like this. If you do so, you can have an external. What is the advantage? One single JavaScript file or one single cascading style sheet file can be applied to multiple file HTMLs. Whereas embedded can be for multiple tags, inline for that particular tag. And remember, the strength is external will be overridden by the embedded, and embedded will be overridden by the inline. Making sense, guys? Okay, so this is first level of this thing. Now shall we go a little bit more? Now just to make it little more interesting, fine, we have a beautiful thing in HTML called as box, which we use very often. We can actually create box kind of display using HTML and CSS. Most of the times now you can see small boxes in websites, which makes your website very elegant. Correct or not? Shall we do some boxes? And box by generally what will happen, you need to specify the size of the box, and then there should be a margin from the top and from the bottom, from the left to the right. So I need to specify the margin, and also I need to specify fine the border, the borders, thickness. It can be invisible border or visible border with a thickness. And then within that box, I need to have a padding area. See, a box is there where the box should come in the web page. Next is border of that box. The next is the padding area. Padding area means you need to specify. See, like this it is. So if I'm going to have so this is what. See, this is the find margins. How much margin is left here and how much margin is left here. Then the border. Here you don't have a border, but I'm going to put a border now and create a box. And then padding is the distance between H and this yellow line, yellow border. So this is padding. And the content area is this, that hello world. So that if I specify, then I can create a beautiful box content. And that I'm going to do it with the help of CSS. So this is the last one we'll see in CSS. Then I'm going to take you to the APIs. So let's do something like this. So I'm going to find a div. Div is division tag. Div is division. Most of the time, either you'll be using div or paragraph tag to make a box. And here I'm going to say style equal to. So I can say width and colon 300 pixel. Let's say pixel is the size I'm saying. And then I'm going to say height colon fine. Let's say 200 pixel. I'm creating a rectangle. Fine. And then I can say let's say background color, because I need to give a color, right, so that the box is visible. I can also make this box visible, invisible, all these things are possible. So I can say fine, background color equal to colon red, for example, fine. And then I can also specify padding. So padding is the distance between the content area and the border. I told you, right, H and this yellow line, padding. So padding can be, let's say, 30 pixel, fine. And margin is the distance between the two boxes or between the borders of the browser. So I can also specify margin colon, fine, let's say 50 pixel. So again, let me make you understand. So a box will have a width and height which will set the margins, and that is the box size, sorry. And then the background color, padding, fine. So margin, border, padding, these are the things which will have. Border I didn't specify. If I want, I can also specify a border which will make it no I mean bold, all these things it can make it. Okay, so let's go ahead with this. This is for box. So let me run this. See, congratulations, guys. The box is little big, so I'll change this to, let's say, 150 pixels, and this I'll make it to 50 pixels so that it's small. Width is too big, so I'll change it to 100. Congratulations, we have created. Yes, makes sense. Fine. So I have in my study material, which I'm going to share with you, several box styles. So please have a look at it and try to experiment. See, these are all fun. Like, you can make this visible, invisible, and you can take your mouse pointer there on click, you saw right yesterday. So that on click event, if you do, it will be visible. Then again you double click, it will become invisible. Now imagination is yours. Of course, we have a study material. Please go through that. This definitely you will be in a position to learn this, and you won't find any difficulty in experimenting with this. Okay. So these are possible with from you. So that's why I'm not going to go beyond this and play with CSS. This is a very interesting topic nowadays. Most of the children in schools, like, they are given no HTML and CSS, and they are given plenty of exercises like this from internet. They are also very sharp nowadays. They will also explore internet. They will make beautiful, beautiful websites. We see in schools. I mean, they are more innovative than us. In fact, if you sit for no 1 or 2 hours, you'll make web pages which, I mean, nobody can imagine. So everybody has that skill set. Just play around with these guys. So now you know the basics of this. Let me again repeat. Cascading style sheet has inline style sheet, embedded style sheet, external style sheet. A element can be identified through a element name, or through the ID, or through the class name, or you can also find group them and then apply a style sheet. Now, what are the styles which are available? Very much available on the internet. You can read. And the next thing is, you also have a beautiful thing called as box model. This is a major. Most of the time you will be using this box. So box model, all you need to understand is this margin. This is margin. Fine. This border size you can specify. Then you can specify the padding. This is padding, fine. And this is content area. So if you could understand how to create this box model, more than sufficient for you to go ahead with it. Got it, guys? Check. Congratulations. So you got a small introduction to CSS. So all I'm saying is, if you know HTML, if you know CSS, if you know JavaScript, and if you know APIs, you can do wonders. So we are touching little. So on the same basis, let's also touch upon a bit of API, and let's make it, I mean, interesting. If I also learn API, fine, that's it. We are through. We can create a dynamic UI component. We are learning little, but as see, the stack is over. But if you are expanding HTML5, expanding CSS, expanding JavaScript, then you can actually create no powerful web applications, web services on the internet. Getting it? So to start with HTML5 APIs, I'm going to give you demos on few of the APIs which are available. Right? And again, believe me, I'm not in a rush. Whatever I'm teaching you perfectly. With that much you can experiment. So I'm not touching on something and then making it difficult for you. So these are something which you can. Similarly, APIs also, I'm going to touch upon those APIs which you can understand, which you can experiment. Later, if you learn over and above that, super duper, nothing like. And it's all simple. They are not tough, similar to this. And I'm not touching the easy one. I'm touching fair enough, so that you gain the confidence. Getting it, guys? Chaliye. So let's start with a simple example where I'm going to show you geolocation to start with. HTML5 API to show geolocation. Then I will also show you a API to do drag and drop. Super, right? If these two things you learn, just imagine you just for in 4 days time. Tomorrow I'm going to show you how to create a React page if possible today. Then you can actually create a React based application with a drag and drop and a geolocation. It's a big thing, right? See, it's not about me telling this. That's how this subject is. That's why this is famous. And if you can do it in 5 days, that imagine with 3 months or 4 months of study, what and all you can do, right? Fine. So let me show you a very small thing where I'm going to talk about fine geolocation. So let me take this out and let me create a script. So APIs come in the form of objects. So yesterday you saw one API, window, window.setTimeout, window.setInterval, console is an API, .log. You also saw window.alert, window.status, window.prompt, right? Window.confirm. So on the same manner, you have an object called as navigator. If you have the navigator object supported in your browser, which normally every browser is supporting today, you can very well get your current location, geolocation of your position. And it's pretty simple, guys. You're not going to hardcore program. So all you have to do is you got to make use of these objects. They use, right, console dot window dot. Similarly, you can say navigator dot geolocation. That's it. Now this particular object can get you the geolocation. Now geolocation can be got in two ways. That is for two sets of objects. One is a stable object, one more is a moving object. So you see in Ola, Uber and all, the car keeps moving. So in case if you have a car moving, then you have a separate API. If you have the car in a stable position, then you have a separate method. Only two methods are fine. One is get current position, one more is show position. If you use these two methods, job is done. So for you to know the current position, for example, your case, you will be getting the current position because you are right now stable, and this geolocation will get the location of your internet, of your connection. In my case, my connection, geolocation dot get current position. See this, get current position, right? Now what happens when you call this method? Please understand, this is an asynchronous method. Asynchronous method. So this call has to go to the satellite, go to the Google. Google has to go to the satellite, and it's not going to happen immediately. Sometimes it may take time, it may get delayed, but it will happen, and it's very fast. Believe me, it happens in just like that. But still, it's an asynchronous call. So what we have to do is we have to register a method inside get current position and tell to the geolocation API, boss, I know you are asynchronous. Once you get the result, pass the result to this method. So I'm creating a method called display, and to that display method I can pass. So that's it. Now if I have the display method in my web page, the display method will contain the geolocation. So for that I need to create a function, fine, display, fine, and here it gives me the location. Location is my keyword I'm giving. My own word I'm giving. This could be anything. Fine. So now this location will have the coordinates. Like for example, I can say now console.log, this you know, right? Console.log location dot coords is coordinates, coords dot latitude. Similarly, console.log find location dot coords dot longitude. See how simple it is, guys. We might be thinking, no, so tough thing. I mean, normally we'll have no how people do this kind of websites. So much, no, I mean, complexity might be there. Now, how many lines have written, and how much you have to know with respect to JavaScript to achieve this. The basic pages, the basic things can be developed in no time. See here, let me now find. See, it is asking me, allow me to access the location of your, no, I mean, through browser. So it asks, right, in send folder last, right, location only if you switch on. Similarly, machine also. So if you run this on the browser, it will ask you. So if you say allow, congratulations, you have got your. See, it took time, right? It didn't happen immediately. It took 2-3 seconds. So the first one is latitude always. The first one is always latitude. The second one is longitude. Congratulations, guys. It's not a small thing. Now, believe me, if you go to Google Maps, fine. If you go to Google Maps and give this longitude and latitude and longitude, you'll know the current location of your where you are available. See here, this is my fine. This is my latitude. I hope you can see my browser, right? Is my browser visible?
Yes.
I'm just giving the latitude and longitude. So I'm giving manually, but believe me, it's saying it's not able to find location using latitude and longitude in Google Maps. Fine. So here I am. So directly it didn't took. So it will take, but I don't have time to explore that. So I'm going for ready-made site. So this is latitude I've given, and I would like to give my longitude. There are a lot of websites available. Believe me, uh, even I have written a program. That program will be little bigger, so I'm not showing that. Uh, I don't know what is the problem with this. No, no, it has come. See this. This is my location. I'm right now here. You could see this, right? This Sanford School, and this is the lake which I have adjacent to my house. Apollo Hospital is there, and this is exactly the location where I am. Exactly the location. You can actually, I can show you my building. There is a park and celebration ground we have. This is the exact place I am, right? In fact, to be frank, this is the exact flat where I'm living. In this plot, in this building, this is the exact location where I am. Super bright. What else you want, guys? And how much of lines we have used for this? Congratulations. It's not difficult. We have took into our mindset that it is difficult. Like even if I teach this to a first standard student, can he make a geolook? See, little bit of extra. See, once you know this, you'll keep on adding. You work for 1 or 2 days, you yourself will come up with something like beautiful apps, which is maybe praiseworthy, right? So 3 lines. All you have to do is you have used a navigator object, a geolocation method, find a property, and then the current position. Similarly, as I said, if you are and you can attach this to see UIs can be developed. You can have boxes where Google Maps can be displayed. You can have buttons on click. You can change that. Drop icon to a car icon or a human icon. Now you explore. But as such, you got it. Getting this. Similarly, if you want to know, to know the moving objects position, very simple. You just have to say watch position. See, if I'm moving, if I'm on the move, so I'm move. What will happen? Watch position. Yesterday I showed you set interval and set timeout. Set timeout gets called only once. Set interval every few seconds it will keep calling. So watch position is actually going to update every few seconds. So that way your longitude and latitude will keep changing, right? So if I'm not moving right now, if I keep moving with my internet connection, with my mobile connection, mobile data, you can see the longitude and latitude keep changing. That you experiment after you finish the class. Fine. Getting that. So for that you have something called as watch position. Congratulations, guys. Okay. So that is with respect to your. I'll give you the code and all. So you don't need to copy. I'll give you. And of course, video is getting recorded by Sophia, right? She'll be fine. Pleased to give you these things. It's already available on YouTube also, right? Okay, fine. Now let's go to the next thing. Next, one more very powerful API, which I would like to show you. That is drag and drop. Because when we are having, beautiful sites, we always, would like to have, kind of this facility, which makes it, very, cinematic, very, advanced kind of. So drag and drop it. So look, so when we see movies and all, we wonder like how this is made, or what kind of technology it is. Again, how many lines? Few lines of code you can achieve drag and drop. Fine. Let me show you that. See here, I have a function. Fine. First, let me draw a div which I'm going to drag and drop. So div id equal to div1. Fine. So this is the div I'm going to find drag and drop. This is the ID I'm going to drag and drop. Okay. And then this particular thing has some properties, some methods, some events that I need to have. And apart from this, I would like to have an image. Image ID equal to drag 1, something like this. SRC equal to fine. And first let us have this guy. Fine. Flower. We got this flower gift, right? So let me take this instead. This looks very nice. And copy image link. I'm going to have that link. So this image, let me have this. So I need to say little bit smaller, right? Height equal to 50, fine, and width equal to so makes sense. Okay, so I have an image, I have a D. So what is that I need to do? Very simple. If I want to drop and drag and drop, all I have to do is I need to follow some events. Yesterday is on click event for a button. So on the same lines, we have something called as on drop, on drag over, few events. If I could memorize that, my job is done. So first thing is on the div, fine, on drop, because on the div only I'm going to drop. on the div I'm going to drop. So what happens when you drop? Number two, on drag over. My image can drag over that also, right? It will move from there and there. So it should allow the drop. So these two events I need to worry about. Similarly, on the image also, I need to allow this to be dragged. So I need to say draggable equal to true. So simple. If I don't allow this to be dragged, it cannot be dragged. So that also please understand. So images have to be allowed to get dragged. And then it should drag itself. So on dragging, some method should be called on drag start equal to some method. So that's it, guys. So totally I need three methods. So one is for on drop, one more is on for on drag over, one more is for on drag start. So three methods I'm going to have. One is function allow drop is there, right? Yeah, on drag over, yeah, fine. On drag over is one method, fine. And sorry, image is on drop. What should be done? That's what I need to specify. On drop, I need to specify a method. So for that, I need a method. On drop, let me write a method called as drop. Fine. And similarly, on drag over. On drag over, what will happen? I should allow it to be dropped. So let me have a method allow drop. And then I should have, fine, a drop method. On drop के लिए drop method is there, allow drop is there, right? And drag is there, right? On drag start. So for that I need to also have a method called as drag. So on drag start में I will give drag method. I will tell what it is, but right now let me give this. On drop में I will say drop. I'll come to it, what it is. On drag over also, I'm going to say allow drop E. Now, what exactly is E? E is called as the event. What event I'm going to, that's how event driven model works. So what happens is when you say E, that it passes that control of that element to the function. It passes that event object itself. So here I need to capture that E, E, E. So let me again see. This is my div. Dig me what happens? A image is going to get dropped, and the image will get dragged over that. So when it drags over, it should allow it to be dropped, and it should have on drop me what should happen. And for the image, I need to say draggable equal to true, and then what should happen when I drag? So I'll tell you what happens here. So you would have seen these trees, right? So you will plug a branch of the tree and you can plug it up, plug in another place of the tree. That's exactly what drag and drop does. You have to plug the image from the DOM tree, DOM, document object model of HTML, plug it out and then plug it in another branch. So you need to remove that and you need to add that. So the same concept we are going to do here, and for this only we have said this. On drop what should happen, on drag over what should happen, on drag start what should happen. So what will be the first thing which will happen? On drag start will happen. So if I'm going to move this, fine, it should happen, right? So on drag start, fine, let me go for the drag. Now what happens? Very simple. I need to allow the object of the image to get transferred, So for that, the method we have is e dot data transfer dot, very simple guys, only 2-3 lines, dot set data of, fine, image, comma, eb dot the ID of the image, target dot ID. So that's all you need to say when I'm dragging. So I'm saying the data is getting transferred, e dot data transfer, and I'm calling a set data method where I'm giving a key, one key, and the value is ev dot target dot id. Ev is what? Sorry, e, not ev. E dot target dot e is the image id, the target image id I want to capture. So once I capture that, it is now set. This is the first thing I need to capture that image. To capture that image, this is the line. Think of that way. And to capture the image, this is the line. Now what should happen? I need to now find move this, correct? Okay, when we move this, there is a possibility the image may have some default behaviors. I should suppress that. Like for example, on click, it may open a page and all might be there. So I don't want that. So when it is moving and it is allowing the drop, all the other events should get stopped. So for that, I'm going to say in allow drop, e dot prevent default. Nothing should happen until I drop this. Nothing should happen until I drop this. I'm preventing the entire default activity. So what is the only thing which is left out now? Fine, drop. So drop is the place where I'm going to actually take that image and show it to you, correct? So here I'm going to say function drop, and here again I'm going to say e dot prevent default, so that the default behavior of that particular box does not start. So I prevent that, and now I need to read what is being moving. So variable, we transfer data, right? Data is equal to e dot data transfer dot get data of what is that we said, my image. So I am getting that data. See here, I am setting that target id image. Here in the drop event, I am capturing the data, and then what should I do? I should now plug out and plug in here. For that, we have a method called as append child. Append means it gets added over and above the existing place. So for that, I'll say e dot where in the current target dot append child of this, which one? This particular image, that id we have, my emg. So I need to get that id. So for that, all I have to do is I have to say document dot get element by id. What is that? It's a query method which can actually go fetch that particular element with the id drag one. So believe me, fine, even if you don't set this, fine, still you can directly pass here, fine, my img and get it. But I might have 2-3 images. If I have 2-3 images, how do you think I will know which image? So for that only, I am capturing that particular name, and that name I am querying here. This is a object called document which can query a element from the html page. That's it, guys. You have done it. You have nailed it. So let me show this again. All you have here is a image and a div. Image may you have only draggable to true, and on drag start you have something called as fine drag event. So on drag event, what do I have? I just set the ID of that particular image, and then in the div I have drop event, on drop event, on drag over. Drop me, I'm on drag over me, I'm just saying prevent default. That's enough. And on drop event, I'm saying prevent the default, read that particular image ID, and this is the magic line which is allowing you to drop that particular image in that particular box. Which box? This div box. I'll just take this in a body. JavaScript editor is little bad. Okay. The div is not coming. Uh, Everything is correct, guys. Only thing is this div.
You have two body.
It is not coming. Sorry, I'll give you this code. It works. I'm sorry, I'm late actually. That tension is also there. So anyway, so we'll continue from here tomorrow. I'll show you because Monday morning I have to also start. I mean, I have to go. So believe me, all we are doing here is we have a drop and a drop. I mean, drag and a drop, and I will get a div here. I just have to move my cursor there. I mean, pull like this. You have to drag and drop it here, and believe me, it gets moved to that div. In fact, I can even just give me 1 second. If it works, then I'll be very happy. It's very funny. Okay, fine. I leave it to you guys. Just experiment with this. Tomorrow, first thing what I will do is I will demonstrate this and then I will take you to the next step. So again, let me repeat. What is that we have covered? We have covered inline style sheet, embedded style sheet, external style sheet. We have learned the concept of selector, the ID, the class, and the grouping of CSS. We also understood the box model of CSS. Then we have started with find the HTML5 APIs. In that, we have learned a beautiful API called as geolocation API, and we are able to get the latitude and longitude. And this is also a beautiful API. Believe me, find drag and drop, and it's pretty simple. Just little complex, but it's pretty simple. You just have to know. I mean, understand the methods and what I'm doing with the method. Now, please try this out. I will share this code in the group. Please try this code. Find make this workable. It works actually. You can see this image. You can drag and drop that image in a container. Got it, guys? As I said, I'm little getting late for my work. Fine. So again, once again, thank you very much. And please, I mean, I would be very happy if that had, I mean, last exercise had been executed. But still, not an issue. We
Thank
can
you.
always make it done. Okay. Chali guys. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. See you
Thank you,
tomorrow.
sir. And
Same time.
everyone, any questions or any request?
Come again. May I have the question repeated? I've shared the code in the WhatsApp group.
Please reach out. No, sir.
Thank you very much. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll spend a little more time with you. Okay. Chaliye guys.